Hey Tackle Warehouse fans, Mike Iaconelli here. I'm excited to introduce you to the brand new Abu Garcia 3.0 rods. This is a rod series I'm really proud of. This is the third generation and we've made it stronger, lighter, better, cheaper. That's hard to do on a rod. I'm gonna start with the Power Series rods and I wanna talk to you about each rod in this complete lineup. So let's talk about the rod itself. Totally redesigned. Start with the guides. We've got stainless guides with zirconium inserts. You know, strong guides are important for me. The abuse that you put through your rod, whether you're wade fishing, kayak fishing, or boat fishing, I want to make sure those guides hold up. So all new guide system on this rod. Of course, 30-ton graphite with that Powerlux added to it. And that means stronger, lighter material. So I love that feature about it. We look at the rod, totally redesigned reel seat. And we really wanted to try to make this rod lighter and more sensitive. And the reason we did that is to have a better feel of that bait. And if you look at the reel seat on all these rods, these casting rods, we have the cutout right where your fingers go, right? So less material, and that cutout puts your finger right on the blank, more sensitive. We've also shortened up the EVA foam a little bit, and of course we've got the finger grips on that as well. Cosmetically, guys, if you look at this rod, totally new cosmetics. We changed that flip-flop color. We went from the purple flip-flop to that greenish gold, pretty amazing. And then, just like the old series, we've identified each of these three series with color coding. When you look at the Power Series, you're gonna see the silver, and of course at the bottom of the rod, you're gonna see that logo that says Power, okay? Last but not least, 3-year warranty on these rods, guys. Something happens, send it back, we'll give you a new one. All right, I wanna get into this Power Series and give you just a little information on what each rod was designed for. I'm gonna start with the one in my hand. This is the 7-foot medium Power Series. This is really a workhorse rod, and it's a medium action casting rod, perfect for single hook power fishing applications, okay? So think about that, a pretty big spectrum, but let me give it to you like this. It's the perfect buzzbait, spinnerbait, chatterbait, vibration jig rod. Those lures that have that big single hook, but you want a little bit of tip, right? You want a little bit of give to that rod to let them get that chatterbait, get the buzzbait, right, at top water. Let them get it, but enough power to drive the hook home. So this is a single hooked power rod, perfect for those three. Also, guys, it's a perfect double if you fish a fish head spin or a small swim bait, a jig and spoon, a blade bait, perfect complement to that as well. Let's keep going. The next rod, and this is another workhorse in this Power Series. And guys, this is the 7-foot medium heavy, right? So same length, but now a medium heavy. And this rod was specifically designed for Texas rig fishing, for light jig fishing, smaller jigs, any of that single hooked application where you need a little more backbone. So medium heavy on this rod, we're going a little bit of tip, but a lot more backbone than 7-foot medium. So perfect rod if you're fishing around docks, if you're throwing a light Texas rig in pads, if you're out dragging a small football head jig, perfect rod for that. We're going to keep going, and it's hard to have favorites, guys, but this for sure is one of my favorites. And this is the 7.2 medium heavy. And I designed this rod specifically for jig fishing. And I love jig fishing. So this is the rod that I use if I'm skipping jigs around docks. This is the rod that I use if I'm casting jigs. This is the rod I use if I'm dragging a football jig out there on the ledges. It's the perfect jig rod. It's also great for heavier Texas rigs, right? If you're out there dragging a heavy Texas rig around, it's also the perfect rod. So 7.2 medium heavy, Great rod in that series. Let's keep going. And I want to go to the next rod. Absolutely in love with this one, guys. Another workhorse in this power series. And remember, silver identifies the rod, says power on the bottom. This is the 7.4 medium heavy. And this rod, to me, of all the rods, if I had to pick one, this is the most versatile. 7.4 medium heavy. And I really designed this rod for swim jigs, frogs, and also the ability to fish a swim bait on a jig head, right? So not giant swim baits, but moderate sized swim baits, you know, hollow belly, a call shad, something like that, up to 3/8 or 1/2 ounce weight on a jig head. This is perfect. So 7.4 medium heavy. You know, you want a little bit of tip in that rod. You know, a lot of people assume that if you're fishing a swim jig or a frog around grass, you want a broomstick. You do not. You want a little bit of tip for that casting. You want a little bit of tip for a shock absorber when you're setting the hook on braid. So 7.4 medium heavy, great versatile rod, especially for frogs, swim jigs. It's perfect. All right, let's keep going. And then the next rod in this series is a really good one as well. And I've got the 7.6 medium heavy. 7.6 medium heavy. And this is a staple in this lineup, right? 7.6 medium heavy. When I designed this rod, I'm really thinking about flipping, pitching, a moderate punching, you know, mat fishing, you know, anytime you really need a longer rod to be able to move that fish, right? So flipping, pitching, light, you know, mat fishing, around vegetation, around reeds, perfect. But this rod also doubles as a perfect Carolina rig rod. So if you like that old ball and chain fishing, this has got the perfect action. 7.6 medium heavy. You can also throw some swim baits on it, but if you're flipping and pitching around docks, mats, wood, perfect rod length and action. All right, guys, so last but not least in this series, this is the one for bigger baits. And this is the one, if you're watching this and you say, I'm throwing really big, heavy lures, I'm throwing big spinner baits, I'm throwing giant swim baits, glide baits. Guys, this is the one. And if you look at this one, it is 7.10 medium heavy, okay? And if you look at this rod, we've actually extended the butt on it, because those big rods, you want to throw it out there, you need that leverage, and you actually a lot of times will put that under your armpit to get a little more leverage. Perfect for those bigger, heavy lures. Does a great job slinging lures really far, so if you need extra length for the long cast, this is the rod. 7.10 medium heavy. So there we have it for the Power Series, a rod designed for every situation you can encounter.